By the late 1920s, the British Empire in India functioned as a massive military apparatus. Its authority was projected through a highly organized colonial army, creating a public image of absolute invincibility across the subcontinent. Previous Indian resistance movements had largely struggled to dent this image. Most actions were isolated ambushes or small-scale robberies, acts that, while symbolic, failed to threaten the physical systems that allowed the empire to govern. The British administration relied on a logistical network of centralized hubs to control trade and international communication. Because these nerve centers were the source of colonial power, Surya Sen realized that the only way to physically sever the empire's grip was to seize an entire major port city. Master Da Surya Sen was a schoolteacher by day, but in secret he operated as a precise military tactician. He analyzed the British occupation as a mechanical system, an interlocking network of telegraphs, trains, and armories that would collapse if a few specific gears were removed. He demanded a different level of commitment from his recruits, asking them to do and die rather than just risking their lives. He wanted a calculated, structural blow against the colonial state that would demonstrate to the entire country that the empire's infrastructure was vulnerable. He built the Chittagong branch of the Indian Republican Army through rigorous vetting, including psychological tests designed to filter out the faint-hearted. He also made the radical decision to train women, like Preeti Lata Wadedar, for direct armed combat. Sen wasn't just recruiting rebels. He was engineering a provisional military force capable of systematically dismantling a city's defenses. At 2200 on April 18, 1930, the blueprint became a reality. A synchronized, multi-pronged assault was launched across Chittagong. The first objective was to blind the colonial administration. Revolutionaries stormed the telegraph office, cutting the wires so no distress signals reached the outside world. This map shows the systematic isolation of the city. As units took the communication offices, others tore up the railway tracks. By midnight, Chittagong was physically and digitally severed from the rest of British India. With reinforcements blocked, the main force executed the primary objective, storming both the police and the auxiliary forces' armories to seize the weapons stored within. The initial victory was absolute. The British administration fled the city, and Surya Sen issued this formal proclamation, declaring the establishment of a provisional revolutionary government. By successfully isolating a port city and declaring a new state, this teenage army achieved a strategic victory that challenged the core authority of the British Empire. Inside the auxiliary armory, they discovered a critical problem. They captured the rifles, but the ammunition crates were empty. British military protocol required that rifles and cartridges be stored in entirely separate buildings. Without ammunition, these weapons were effectively useless. Sen realized that holding the urban center without a way to fire back was impossible. He knew that even with the rails cut, British reinforcements would eventually arrive with superior firepower. He ordered an immediate retreat, leading over 60 teenage soldiers out of the city and into the surrounding hills to prepare for a defensive stand. The absence of ammunition forced the revolutionaries to abandon their city occupation and retreat into the wilderness for a guerrilla survival mission. On April 22nd, the British military finally caught up. They arrived by train and surrounded the revolutionaries at Jalalabad Hill. The asymmetry of the battle was extreme. Sen's group of starving students was now facing professional troops armed with heavy, water-cooled machine guns. Sen assigned field command to Lokanath Bal and took up a position as a common soldier. He divided his forces into 8 groups, utilizing the dense tree cover to mask their numbers. This diagram illustrates the tactical geometry of the hill. As the British attempted to climb, the revolutionaries utilized the steep elevation to direct synchronized volley fire downward, pinning the exposed climbers against the slope. The British forces took heavy losses and were forced to retreat into a ditch for cover. 12 revolutionaries died in the exchange, but the hill held. Geographic positioning and tactical discipline had successfully neutralized a superior force equipped with heavy machine guns. Sen eventually dispersed the survivors and spent the next 3 years leading a guerrilla campaign, evading a massive manhunt with the help of a supportive civilian network. While the raid failed to hold Chittagong permanently, it achieved its primary objective. It demonstrated that the empire's military might could be outmaneuvered and its critical infrastructure seized. The technical success at Chittagong provided a replicable operational model for Indian resistance. This blueprint for coordinated, large-scale action informed the mass mobilization of the Quit India movement and the 1946 naval mutiny. Master Das Surya Sen's do and die strategy proved that an empire could be outsmarted, providing the tactical foundation that eventually helped lead to India's independence.